Hey my fishes, editing Courtney popping in super fast. I know there have been a couple of other videos that have come out before this one, but I say something at the beginning of this video that isn't going to make a whole lot of sense because you're like, hey, I've seen this area before, but just know that I actually filmed a bunch of these videos and I'm posting them all kind of out of order, so I'm sorry for the confusion, but I hope you enjoy today's video. Alright, I'm gonna hand it over to regular Courtney. See you guys later. Hey guys, Courtney Mermaid here and welcome back to my channel. This is my first sort of official video being filmed in my new little corner, so I'm not really sure what I think of it yet. I'm thinking of still putting some lights. There's a picture frame up here. What is that pillow doing? What are you doing? Why? I fix. Like, conform, okay? I can handle this. Yes, so the room is more or less set up. We've got everything in here now that should be in here, short of like my books and stuff. The lighting is really good here though, do you know what I'm saying? And the rest of the apartment, still a mess. So let's just, we're shooting on past that. We're gonna get right into today's video. I am answering a question that I was asked over on Instagram by Macy Sky. I have my laptop down here. Macy Sky asked a really good question that I thought would make a much better video response than that. Now I can't guarantee that every time you ask me a question over on Instagram, I'm gonna do a video for it, but very often if you ask me a good one, I make a note of it and eventually down the road make a video. So things to keep in mind. So Macy asks, help me. I'm totally lost and overwhelmed. Sorry, Macy, I am gonna read the entire thing. I am 16 and a junior in high school. I want to go to college to become a cop, but I also want to start a business on the side. I always wanted to be a mermaid and I would love to do photography, swimming, and maybe design tails. I have no clue how to start and I just feel so overwhelmed. Can totally relate. I've watched basically everything on your channel, thank you so much, and other mer channels, and I have lots of stuff saved on Pinterest for designs and photography. I also live in Cartersville, so it's not the best place for mermaids. How do you do it, dude? I also want to try making a YouTube channel, doing like unboxing videos and vlogs of my journey, but I am very limited on money and have no idea what equipment I need for that and what all I need to do. I am also pretty shy on camera. How are you so open and talkative in your videos? I just choke up and don't know what to say. So this is a lot to read, but I really appreciate it. I'll take any and all advice I can get. Thanks so much. Well, thank you so much, Macy Sky. I am going to do my best to answer your questions right now, and let's just dive on in. So first of all, being lost and totally overwhelmed, 100% okay. It's actually how I spend most of my days, just lost and like, somebody please help me. I need to look like I know what I'm doing, but this is 100% relatable. I'm sitting here like, this was totally me. Okay, so you have no clue where to start. The very first thing that we can kind of analyze from this situation is how well do you swim? In order to do the whole mermaid swimming, YouTubing, tail making thing, you need to be a very competent swimmer. You need to be able to swim in a mermaid tail safely. Along with that, having a mermaid tail will probably help you. A lot of people who have never been swimming in a mermaid tail or have never even made a mermaid tail before, starting a business right off the bat is not a good idea. You need to, well, first of all, you need to show the community that what you're producing is actually functional and swimmable and safe. And you also need to show it for yourself, because I've been making tails since 2006. The ups and downs have been wild, but I've also learned a lot from that. So a lot of mistakes were made previously and I don't make those mistakes anymore. And that comes with time and actually doing it. So the guessing and testing and all of that fun stuff. Now, luckily for you, at the time that you're starting, there are a lot of resources all over the internet. I myself have an ebook that you can find at shopvancouvermermaid.com that talks all about how to make printed fabric mermaid tails. I also have an endless supply of tail making tips and tricks and videos here on my YouTube channel. You can find it under my playlists. I believe it's my mermaid school playlist, or it's how to make a mermaid tail. It's one of those playlists. If I'm smart, editing Courtney will leave it up for you in the cards. All that said, there are a lot of things that you will need, a lot of boxes you're gonna need to check, you know, getting yourself flippers to start, see if you even like it, you know, if you even like doing the whole mermaiding thing. If you're already doing the mermaid thing, then you can just bypass this chunk of it. But getting yourself a monofin, finding a group of mermaids in your area to meet and swim with, checking out what other tail makers are making, what is something new and fresh that you would bring to the table as a mermaid tail maker if that was something that you wanted to pursue. So there's lots of that kind of stuff to contemplate and think about. So in terms of the actual design, so in addition to swimming. You need to be a good swimmer to be a mermaid. If you would like to be a tail maker, you're also going to need to have basic sewing skills. And I say basic because, like, unless you're planning on putting in an epic ton of extra fins and all of that kind of stuff, making a mermaid tail is, in terms of the actual physical sewing side of it, is just straight lines basically all over the place. There isn't too much that's going to be like a why do I do this, how kind of a situation. But if you are planning on doing that, like learning how to take people's measurements, figuring out where you're going to get your fabric from and all that kind of stuff, I do talk about it all in my book. But if you are planning on doing that, like learning how to take people's measurements, figuring out where you're going to get your fabric from and all that kind of stuff, I do talk about it all in my book. So in terms of the design. Hey guys, editing Courtney, just popping in super fast. Pardon the noise in the background. Dinner and Eric hanging curtains, all the good stuff. I don't know if you guys noticed that little shark. It looks like it just pops from one frame to the other. I actually cut out a bunch of footage where I went off on a massive rant, which I feel actually needs to be its own separate video. So I'm gonna keep that separate. But the shark didn't just move by itself. I went back and looked and I saw that Alfie actually gets up and turns around, which is why it looks like the shark is facing one way for a second and then facing another way immediately right after. And it was spooky and I just felt like I needed to clarify. Okay, so enjoy the rest of the video. Now I am working on another ebook that is going to talk about specific like design principles and things that I follow when it comes to actually designing mermaid tails, like the art side of it, not the measuring side of it, but the actual art side of it, the how I do the thing. But things that you can look at, you want to research, like color theory, obviously is going to be important. You're going to want to do some research, do some sketching, get your art skill level up, look up tutorials on how to use programs like Photoshop or an equivalent style software. You know, you're going to need to make sure that your computer can actually handle it, because if you're planning on doing printed tails like I do, you need to have a beast that can handle really huge files, because these files, I've had, the biggest one I've had so far got up to I think 7 gigs in size, and that is quite monstrous to try and use. So now as far as the whole YouTube side of everything goes, you're 16. Obviously, if you get to the point where you're going to get paid by YouTube, there's like a threshold and whatnot that you have to pass. Being that you're 16, you're obviously not quite there with the whole taxes and things like that, and there will be information that you won't be able to provide them yet. Maybe your parents can probably help you with that, but you'll have to talk to them about that as well. Also making sure, and I just put this out there, Mermom is about to come forth here. Always be very careful. Mermaiding can attract a lot of weirdos, okay? So a lot of strange ducks out there who will ask you for nudes or ask you for can I swim with you, or really inappropriate questions on social media, and it can be overwhelming. I actually had a request from another follower who would like me to do a video talking in depth about how I deal with that and tips and tricks for younger mermaids who find themselves encountering the weirdos out there, the merverts as we call them. So that is a video in the works, but I wanted to take time to actually put that together properly. But yeah, so just make sure that you are aware of the situation, and I hope that you have the kind of relationship with your family where you can let them know if you're experiencing something odd, and if you can't, you know, find like maybe a mermaid mentor or somebody who you can talk to about these things if you are finding it overwhelming at all, because it can be like downright gross, a little scary, or inappropriate. Not to like spook you out of here, it's just something you need to be aware of that you may encounter, you may not, but it is important to always you know, be able to talk with somebody about that. So there's that. So YouTube can be an interesting adventure in and of itself. There are a lot of videos out there on how to start a YouTube channel. You could look at people like video creators. Daryl Eves has a great channel as well. There's a lot of different ones out there. I can't think of them all off the top of my head. Those were the two that came to me. There's a lot of things that you have to deal with in terms of like the algorithm, when to post, what to post, how to make banners, how to make credits for your video, how to do all that good stuff. If you guys want more information on how to do the whole YouTube thing, like let me know, and maybe I can make a video series on that. I don't know if it's a popular idea. If you guys want to see it, let me know. And my best advice to you is to start as soon as you can. as soon as you can. There's no time like the present. Just do the thing, because if I could go back in time and fix my hair, I would tell Courtney in 2011 to just haul tail, because time is gonna pass anyways, right? So you could be putting content out there, sharing your adventures, and somebody else might even find it helpful or useful in the future, right? So you never know. The best thing that you can do though is start now, and don't be afraid that the first handful of videos are gonna be terrible, and who knows, it might be a year's worth of terrible content. Like me, my content was very sketchy. I was filming things on my laptop because I didn't have a camera or, you know, a fancy phone to film on. Those were some of my most popular videos, were filmed on my crappy old laptop. So we'll use that as a segue to talk about some of the things that you need to get started. Now, don't let anybody tell you that you need to have the fancy camera and the 15 different tripods and all of the ring lights and all of the light boxes and all of the stuff, because in reality, you need a window and you need a smartphone. That's pretty much all you need, okay? You get your good lighting from outside, hopefully. It changes a little bit and fluctuates, but it's nice natural lighting, so what are you gonna do? And then grab yourself, an iPhone is great because they come with iMovie. I actually have a friend of mine, that's Mermaid Kim's husband, Chad. Actually, he runs a fantastic channel. It's like a toy review channel. You should definitely check it out. I will leave it down below, hopefully editing Courtney remembers. And he does it all on his phone. He edits everything on his phone. He films it all on his phone. It's all on his iPhone. It's madness. If you're somebody who has a MacBook, they come with iMovie, and iMovie's great. It's what I was using for the longest time. Now I have upgraded to Final Cut Pro because there were just some things that I was getting sick of having to find workarounds for, but iMovie is a fantastic way to start. Okay, so now in terms of talking to the camera, maybe I should include some unedited stuff so you can see what I actually look like talking to the camera, because it's pretty ridiculous. I will ramble and I will talk and I'll be looking in the wrong place, and then I'm realizing I'm looking in the wrong place, that I should be looking here, and there's a reason there's a lot of jump cuts in my videos, okay? There's a reason. It's because I do not have it together. I look like I have it together, but if you meet me in person, I'm not as coordinated. Would you stop barking, please?
Stop barking! You're barking! You're barking! Come here, Borker.
Where are you barking at? There's nothing to bark at. Oh, defiance. So when it comes to not being camera shy, the only thing that I can really say is that the more that you do it, the easier it gets. And I mean that. Like, you know, years and years ago, it just wasn't good. It wasn't good. And don't be afraid to do cuts. I obviously, I have a few issues that make it hard for me to like sometimes put complete sentences together. So I will say a word and I'll pause, and then I'll say another word and I'll pause, and I just cut them together, because who wants to sit there and listen to me stutter and stumble and be ridiculous? So don't be afraid to edit some of the out and just work with the good stuff. That's fine. Practicing by talking to yourself or talking in front of a mirror is also really helpful, and remembering that everybody actually feels this way. Like, I don't think I know anybody who actually feels 100% perfect talking in front of a camera. The only reason I think I'm getting better at it is just because I kind of imagine that you're actually there. Like, I imagine that I'm actually talking to you, you're sitting right here, we're having a nice conversation, and I try not to think that there's like 10,000 people out there watching me. Like, collectively, I try to think of you guys as like a unit, like a one person thing. But practice, 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 and remember that everybody's first video was sketchy AF, and it does get better and it does get easier. And think about it, if you're 16, like, I am twice your age. I am twice your age. Wow. Feeling old. When I did that, my back cracked too. That's just so sad. But if I had started when I was 16, who knows how much more comfortable I would be now, right? So time's gonna pass anyways, so it's better to just give it a go, give it a shot. What's the worst that's gonna happen? You hate the video, you leave it up for a week and then you take it down. Like, that's the worst that's gonna happen here, right? Now, to kind of summarize, the best thing you can do if you have a plan is to just start. You can be like me and plan for days and then stress about it, or you can pick one small thing that you could do right now that would get you a little bit closer to your goal. So figure out what your goal is going to be, and they can change. They don't always have to stay the same. You don't have to be like, okay, well, I said this when I was 16. When I was 16, I wanted to be a vet. Okay, so let's just like, let's chew on that for a second, okay? Obviously, your family and your friends and your parents, like, hopefully they want what's best for you. And in some cases, they might think like, wow, that's a pretty crazy thing. You want to do the whole mermaid thing? Okay, that's just, you're nuts, but okay, power to you. But at the end of the day, the people who are really there for you, they're gonna get it eventually. You know, you show them that you're serious, you show them that you're making plans and you are being serious about it, will help people just kind of get the concept. And if you take it seriously as well, like, so I try very hard. For the first little while, it was not easy when somebody asked me what I do for a living to very seriously say, well, I'm a mermaid tail maker. It was a lot easier to be like, well, I make mermaid tails for a living. No, if somebody's gonna ask you what you're doing, you're like, yes, okay, I am this. And if you believe it, they're gonna believe it. I've always said that and I still say it, but if you believe it, they believe it. That's my rant, my tips, my thoughts on your question, Macy Sky. I hope you found this helpful, and anybody else watching, I hope that I have imparted some wisdom. Again, I do make notes. So if you leave me a comment with a question, if I feel like I have some insight to give, I make a note of them in my Trello board, and eventually I make videos on as many of them as I can. So if you do have a question, like Macy Sky did, be sure to leave it in the comment section down below, or you can follow me on Instagram and always send me a DM. I do read them. I do not always reply to all of them because there are a lot of them and I'm very appreciative. I am also currently, I'm not sure when you're seeing this, but I am taking a break off of everything right now just to kind of focus on this kind of stuff, on the editing kind of stuff, and on my schoolwork kind of stuff, and also finishing the big move. All right, fishes, and before I let you go, I want to talk to you guys about the Finis Luna, since we were talking about getting started in mermaiding. This is my absolute all-time favorite mermaid monofin. It fits my size 11 feet so comfortably, it maneuvers great in the water, and it looks fantastic, or fin-tastic, if you will, in my mermaid tail. If you guys want to check it out over at finisswim.com, be sure to use my special discount code MERMAIDCourtney to get yourself 20% off your purchase. All right, my fishes, if you found today's video helpful, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the pod and the bell notification as well so you never miss an upload. I love you all, my fishes. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next one. Happy swimming! Bye!